that fully guides you to achieve perfect results. Whirlpool, sensing the difference.
Welcome back. What better way to warm up this winter than with some delicious homemade mushroom soup? Tara Walker from East Coast Cookery School is in the kitchen to show us how it's done. Morning, Tara. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, and I'm looking forward to a nice, warming, hearty bowl of soup.
Perfect dish for today.
Yeah, it really is. I've actually been making soups every week, loads of different soups for the last few weeks, and with the cold weather, it's just so comforting.
They're a winner, aren't they?
Yeah, and a great way to get lots of veggies in as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So for my mushroom soup this morning, I have just started by sweating off some onions. So I've given those a good few minutes. You want to give them time. So it's just a knob of butter, an onion diced, pinch of salt, and give it a good kind of 10 to 15 minutes if you can. Really slowly soften it down. And then I'm going to pop my mushrooms in. And a really nice thing to do with the mushrooms is to cook them a bit lower and slower than you might think, because what happens is all of the juices release out, but then they get kind of sucked back in again.
Right.
So you get that really lovely, intense kind of flavour.
And when it comes to the type of mushroom, does it matter?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, if you know a forager and you're confident, it's fantastic. There's loads of mushrooms at the moment. I've seen loads around Termonfeckin lately. But I have just little button mushrooms and some chestnut mushrooms here today. And I don't really like to wash the mushrooms. So just brush them off. If they're in good condition, just brush them off. And if not, what you can do is just peel them. So take the stalk off. So say if you have a little black bit like that, just use a little paring knife or a little vegetable knife and just peel it off like that. Because they're very porous and spongy. So if they take up all of the water when you wash them, you lose a lot of the flavour.
So don't wash them.
Exactly. So just give them a little kind of scrape off and a little peel if you need to. And we're going to get those on there. So after a few minutes then, so you'd give it a little bit longer than this ordinarily. We just don't have time today for the slot. But we're going to add a little bit of flour in now. So that's our thickening agent. Give that a stir through. It's important to cook out the flour. Give it a few minutes there.
And that's what, a little teaspoon of flour, was it?
Yeah, about a tablespoon of flour. So this is a portion for 4. It's about 500 grams of mushrooms in here. So I would normally do a double batch if I'm going to do it. Because it freezes really nicely. It's great to just have, if you're working from home at the desk or whatever, it's really warming and nice to have. So just cook that flour out a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add my stock in. And for me, it's always a little tip I try and tell people. Add less stock than a recipe calls for, because different mushrooms need a different amount of water. You know, they're more absorbent or less absorbent. And it's very difficult if you've over-diluted something to kind of come back from that.
You can add, you can't take away.
Exactly, So I would say, just cover the mushrooms, basically.
And any kind of stock, or?
Yeah, well, I've got chicken stock there, but vegetable stock, chicken stock, whatever you fancy.
Gorgeous.
And get the lid on and let it simmer away. So here's one that has been simmering since I arrived in this morning. So it's been on for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour. And you can see it, you can smell it. Nobody can smell at home, but it smells really strong, doesn't it?
It does.
And I'm going to give it a little blitz up now with a stick blender.
Talk amongst yourselves there.
And don't worry if it looks very dark. That's the type of mushrooms I've used. But I'm going to lighten it down with some cream anyway.
Happy days.
So just be careful when you're using a blender. Get it right down or else it's going to splash up.
And if you have a processor, could you put it through it?
Exactly. I have to say, though, I find it a real nuisance to lift it out.
And then put it back in.
And put it back, I prefer this. So, look, you can leave it a little bit chunky. I love it a little bit chunky just because I just think you get more, it feels like more of a meal then,
Plus, you want to see what you're eating. You want to know what's in there.
Exactly, exactly. So now I'm going to add a nice, generous dollop of cream, stir it through. And look at that. Oh, and I meant to mention, I have some thyme leaves in here. I brought some thyme from the garden.
A little bit of herb?
Yes, So then...
So you pop that in earlier on the process.
Exactly, and then normally I garnish with the thyme. I just don't see where I left it there.
Smells gorgeous.
Just look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? A few little chunks of mushroom in there just for that great flavour. And then just finish off. Now, this is a little... I suppose it's slightly chefy, but I think it's really nice to do a little drop of truffle oil at the end.
Truffle oil.
Yeah, because it brings on that real mushroomy flavour. Yeah. So it's like, you know, with chocolate, coffee brings out the flavour of chocolate. Truffle oil's bringing out the flavour of the mushrooms. So just a little small, just go easy on the truffle oil because it is very highly flavoured. And then just another little bit of
Cream.
And normally I pop a little bit of thyme on there just for garnish.
Somebody stolen the thyme.
Yeah, well, I think I threw it out because I had it in some tissue. My own fault.
And then you serve it, of course, with
some brown bread, some nice crusty brown bread.
And real butter.
Yes, real butter. Big slab of butter on it there.
You can't beat it.
And the mushroom soup, I just think it's so hearty and warming. Are you going to have a taste, Simon?
I will try and stop
There's
me.
a spoon for you.
Stop me. Actually, you might do a second bowl because I feel somebody approaching on my left-hand side. Here you go, ladies first.
I was literally there behind the camera the whole time.
There you are, my
Did
dear.
someone say soup?
They
I would
said
love
mushroom
some.
soup. Are you a soup fan, Lise?
I'm everything fan, Simon. I think you know that. But especially soup, though. It reminds me of just, as you said, those hearty, you know, kind of afternoons where you just want something in your tummy.
It reminds me of being off school.
It does.
And your mammy would make you a bowl of soup.
I love mushroom
Or a nice
soup.
walk in the woods in the autumn, come home to a nice bowl of soup. And you know, you asked me earlier had I foraged the mushrooms myself. And we did do a foraging course at the cookery school a few years ago. We had a mycologist down from UCD and it was a brilliant day. But to be honest with you, there's so much danger around mushroom that I actually, I felt worse afterwards in terms of, like, I was more conscious of the danger afterwards. So unless you have someone who's really knowledgeable and expert, I wouldn't really forage for mushrooms.
You have to know what you're doing, don't you?
Exactly.
You haven't had a taste yet, have you?
No,
This is beautiful.
I'm
you
about
can
to.
actually taste all the lovely chunks of the mushrooms in it.
Yes, because I didn't over blitz.
It's divine.
Thank you very much,
Now,
Tara.
Enjoy.
Good, thumbs up.
No, listen, 2, 3, 5 thumbs up.
Happy days.
Love
Tara,
it.
thank you as always.
Very
Full
welcome.
recipe details are up on our website, or check out eastcoastcookeryschool.ie for a list of Tara's classes and additional recipes. Now, fashion is next. We'll see you after the break.
This
Good.
is divine. Yeah,
The new
fabulous.
Whirlpool W collection with Sixth Sense technology that fully guides you to achieve perfect results. Whirlpool, sensing the difference.